coffee.
Oh, then we shouldn't be recording then. How will we get through it?
Well, we'll try.
We'll do our best. Bear with us.
Yo, what's up to our members on a Sunday?
Hey, friends.
And to our non-members, non-supporters. You support us with your looks, but not with your dollars, so we'll accept you too on a Tuesday night.
But not before then.
Not before then. That's all you get. Yeah, man. So there were some more fights on the card that were kind of interesting. The one that I thought was worth talking about was actually, never mind.
I thought we were moving on.
I'm like looking at him like,
I thought we talked about everything. It was a small card.
Oh, the Miranda Maverick fight. That one was kind of interesting. I was not surprised with what happened, but I was surprised that Barbosa actually like having some stamina in that fight because it was a short notice one. She was supposed to fight Tracy Cortez. Cortez got pulled in for the Rose fight, and so Barbosa got pulled in off the couch to fight Miranda Maverick, who's kind of a bulldozer, you know.
And she bulldozed.
Yeah.
She's a tough fight. She's a really strong girl. She's like a farm girl strong, and she really knows how to use it. She listens really well to her corners, and she just really sticks to that game plan. She does what she does very well.
Yeah, I think anyone who would take that fight short notice, it would be someone like Barbosa, who has like a really strong skill set in certain departments. Like has strong judo background. She's trying to get up into ranks. So it was worth the risk, but I think she just wasn't able to find the mark. Miranda Maverick's like striking defense was too good. And then her grappling, she was just able to outmaneuver Dione. She was just able to out hustle her basically. And anytime she got kind of out of position, she was able to just scramble back on top and get heavy and shut her down.
No, Barbosa had some good moments, but I just think the strength and the conditioning and the pressure of Miranda is what won it and what wins her most of her fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did like that little elbow she landed though. She had like a quick little moment of success where she landed a big head and arm throw and then a little elbow as they stood up off of the fence, and I thought those were cute. But yeah,
so cute.
Miranda. Oh, and Miranda also has her own pickle company, Pickle and Honey.
She is quite the Renaissance woman. I think she has she had like a couple other things in the works too that they were announcing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for her.
Like what?
I heard something else.
Well, she said pickle and honey. She has a pickle company and she has a honey company. Yes. I actually checked out her store.
Did you buy something?
I did.
Oh, good for you.
I bought a Pickles for Jesus t-shirt.
I love that. I love funny t-shirts. I have a lot. I don't wear them.
I don't think it's supposed to be funny.
I mean, it's all in the eye of the beholder. It's all up for interpretation.
The eye of the beholder. And it's pickles in the form of a cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know pickles.
It's pretty interesting.
Were shaped
so
like that, but
if you're into pickles and Jesus, you should definitely hop on Miranda Maverick's store and buy yourself a t-shirt. She also sells pickles.
That's awesome.
And honey. So support your girl. Aside from that, yeah, I think everything else was pretty chill. We can move on. Oh, I did think it was funny that our buddy Radzabov, even though he didn't want to watch the female fights, his fight was sandwiched in between two of them.
I'm telling you, karma, the universe, just like, you know, they did that for him.
I'm like, your warm-up must have sucked. You had to cover up all the screens in your warm-up room. You had to, like, put a sheet over it or something. Or maybe he was in the bathroom the whole time. I was going to say,
he stayed in the bathroom the whole time because he couldn't bear watching it.
Just sitting on the toilet, cursing. Razabov, it's time. Your time is now. And he's, like, on the toilet, just waiting for them to be done. They went to do his medicals. He's like, runs to the toilet again.
Avoiding all TVs.
Yeah. Goes to the snack room. Eyes covered.
Mm-hmm.
Eating all the snacks. Yeah, I thought that was pretty beautiful karma. But moving on, did you watch the the Jake Paul Mike Perry card.
I did.
What did you think? Meh.
So, on a positive, I can respect and appreciate what he is doing for himself. He's making himself a lot of money. He is.
Oh, Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Jake Paul.
Oh.
Before I start.
Before you start slandering.
Before I
his
start
name.
going in, I think what he has done for himself is really impressive. He has made something out of nothing, and he has, built himself up.
Emphasis on nothing.
Yes. It's just it appeals to the masses. He does a really good job of promoting himself, promoting the fights, making money. It is impressive. But what I keep seeing is like this person who is trying to build himself up as a boxer, but he's not boxing boxers. He always has a crazy advantage against people with size and weight and supplements. He just always makes sure that he has an edge, and then he talks badly about the people that he's setting up himself to have success with. So it's really hard to watch at times. Yeah. It's hard to get behind. I understand the appeal to the masses. I understand why, people show up to watch. At a very primitive level, yes, I'm just trying to understand. And at a primitive level, I understand it is entertainment. And people want to be entertained. And it's big, it's loud, it's extravagant, it's excessive. I understand why people are tuning in.
See, I've when I watch anything related to Jake Paul, the Paul brothers, I just feel old. It makes me feel like the parents when the kids are listening to that rock and roll or that rap garbage on the radio. What's all this noise? That's what it looks like, noise to me. It just looks like a lot of bright colors and dumb things happening that don't make any sense.
That's what kids are into these days.
And
they don't want substance.
Feel old. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what it is now. It's the, what's the guy's name with the colored hair and the tattoos? It's the
Dr. Doom or something.
No, it's it's just what it is now. It's
what guy with the colored hair? What are you talking about?
6'9" guy.
Oh, Takeshi 6'9".
Thank you.
I was thinking of YouTubers.
No, but that's what people are into. They don't want any substance in their music. They want synthesized. They want something big and flashy. They don't care necessarily what it's saying. Like we're just past the days of substance.
Yeah, everything is quick, easily digestible, quick hits, memes, that kind of thing. That's what we want. We don't want to do research. We are just slowly, not even slowly, quickly sliding into our idiocracy.
No, we're there.
We're there. Yeah, we're pretty much there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, there's no real storyline. There's no point to these fights other than to be making money and entertainment.
Yeah.
There's just not.
Yeah. So going to the actual fight, for a second, I had a glimpse of hope.
So did I.
For a second, in that second round,
it was fleeting.
I thought, oh, we might have something here. And then for whatever reason, it all went to shit.
You know what the crazy thing to me is? I guess it's not crazy when we talk about what we just talked about. The crazy thing to me is people will talk such crap about the people that Jake Paul is fighting, but they won't necessarily acknowledge that he is stacking the odds in his favor. It's his promotion. It's his contracts. It's all his stipulations. He's always has a 20, 30, 40 pound weight advantage to these people. I know that man is on supplements.
Oh yeah.
It's just,
you see how red he was?
It is.
He looked like a liver king.
Lots of circulation and blood flow with that guy. Yes.
Lots of liver.
No, it's frustrating that people want to shit on Mike Perry for stepping up and, you know, stepping into a realm that is not his, as all of the MMA fighters that he's fought have. He's just had all of these huge advantages, and he's building his name off of it, off the backs of our comrades. And it's frustrating that that is not necessarily acknowledged.
Yeah, well, what frustrates me is that every time a fight gets booked, I fall into that trap of thinking that it's not rigged.
It is.
And I always know that it's rigged to a certain extent, but I'm like, well, you know, this fight isn't as rigged as the last one. This one isn't as rigged as the Woodley fighter, isn't as rigged as the Silva fighter, isn't as rigged as the Diaz fight. And then it is. It is every freaking time it is. He's never fought someone who fights actually at 205.
Well, Fury. The one time.
And then
the one time. And he was like, oh, I'm not actually like as good at this or ready for this as I think I am. I need to go back to setting myself up for success.
Exactly. He realized that sucks, fighting someone your size, and he decided to fight smaller people again.
Yeah.
And it just frustrates me because I feel like I should be smarter than that. I feel like every time I sign in and I think, okay, this is the one. We're going to have our Francis Ngannou moment. It doesn't happen. And when I saw the size of Perry stepping into the ring and facing off against Jake Paul, I knew right then and there, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I am an idiot for thinking that this guy had a chance. And then, you know, he gets knocked down in the first round. It looked like a slip, but even though it looked like a slip, you could just see the size difference. You could see that Jake Paul is so much bigger. His gloves look bigger than him. His fists look bigger than him, and they're in gloves, you know? So everything about that matchup just screamed, this isn't fair. And the more I saw Perry have success, the more I realized that every successful moment is just going to be snuffed by the fact that Jake Paul is a lot bigger, a lot stronger, has more weight behind his punches. When he ties up on Perry, it's going to feel a lot different than him tying up on someone that is his size, and it's going to make your arms heavier. It's going to make you slower in there. He's not on the same gear, you know? So there's so many aspects to this fight that I just felt stupid for not realizing before it started. Mm-hmm. Like, man, this is really an unfair fight.
Yeah. And hats off to Mike Perry for stepping up, even though he knew that, you know, odds were against him. Mm-hmm. And I hope he got paid very well. And I hope he, you know, rests up and, you know, gets back to what he does best, which is bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah. And maybe they'll do that bare knuckle boxing fight. I doubt it.
That guy,
I do not think he's going to do that.
No. And that's another frustration with this, is that he says that he'll, you know, fight MMA fighters at their own game, or he'll do bare knuckle boxing, or he'll do all this stuff. And now he's calling out Pereira, and it's just, it's obnoxious to me.
It is.
It's really obnoxious.
And then he takes the bait too. Pereira takes the bait. He has Ed. What's
Soares.
His name? Ed Soares, calling, FaceTiming at the taco stand or wherever they were, going, hey, we'll fight you. So it's like, all right, is this actually going to happen?
At least it'll be a big, you know, topic of conversation. It'll create a buzz, and who knows what they make of it.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens, this is going to be the one where everyone finally shows up and hopes that he gets knocked out.
Yes.
But it's probably never going to happen.
It probably won't.
It probably won't. Like, when would Dana allow that to happen?
Who knows?
Never. He didn't let Francis Ngannou go and box. You know, he didn't let McGregor go and box without having part of that deal set up. Mm-hmm. So for him to allow his newest, biggest star to box Jake Paul in a freak show fight, I doubt that would ever happen.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
And he knows that, which is why he called him out.
Exactly.
He's like, this is the safest, scary person to call out because everyone will give me props for calling him out, and it's never going to happen.
Because he can blame it on Dana White.
Yeah, you can blame it on Dana.
The organization.
And blame it on Dana White holding people back and not letting them get money.
Yes.
It works perfectly for his whole plan. Everything's thought out. He has a whole team of people thinking out these scenarios for him.
Yes.
Which is also putting our fighters at a disadvantage because we don't have that shit.
No, we don't.
We do. This whole production is 3 people, 2.5 because Adam is sometimes here.
In and out. In and out.
He helps when I ask him. Like, we don't have teams of people doing our PR, making decisions, deciding what to say, how to react to things, who to call out. So it, like, everything about this guy, he's doing a good job of making himself a figure, something out of nothing, like you said, like making himself a figure in the MMA and boxing world somehow with very little to start with skill-wise.
Yes. And it's easier to go after the MMA fighters because we don't have those big money-making opportunities that boxing does.
Yeah, and we don't have the same skill set, too, where I think there are a lot of boxers who would beat his ass that are making about the same as the average MMA fighter, but they have boxing skills. Mm-hmm. They're not boxing for MMA. They're not boxing to set up kicks or boxing to set up takedowns or whatever, or boxing in small gloves. Like, it's a totally different skill set to be a good boxer in a boxing ring. Mm-hmm. And that's why MMA fighters are easy targets skill-wise, too.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I was really happy that Perry started landing on him. I feel like when I was watching that first round, I kept thinking he needs to go to the body. Because what Jake Paul does, he does like a big double jab. He starts to line up his overhand, and then he overthrows and dips to get out of the way of anything else coming at him.
Yes.
So he'll go, bah, overthrows, and then just ducks his head down. Like, that's another reason why he'll probably never take an MMA fight. He'll probably never take a kickboxing fight, because you do that, you're getting kneed or kicked in the face, or you're just getting taken down off of the overhand.
Please take it.
Please do that. I mean, you should do it. You'd be so good at it.
Yeah.
You'd be so good at it. Any of those things. But it's just he uses the advantages of boxing to duck and get out of the way, especially against MMA fighters who their usual response to those movements would be things that you can't do in a boxing match.
Yes.
So we're not as good at timing the uppercut like Bruno Silva did. You know, that's not something that you see as often. It's usually a knee or a kick when someone dips down low and dips their head in a wild way after a punch. So eventually in the second round, Perry starts doing that. He starts going for the body. He starts throwing like dip uppercuts. He throws like a load of hooks and stuff, but to the body. And then when Jake Paul starts dipping, he starts connecting as he's dipping. And that really got a reaction out of him.
Yeah, it gassed him out in that round.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely Mike Perry's best round. He started moving his head. He started just engaging more and making Jake Paul miss, which is what he needed to do. The issue is Mike Perry he's a very stationary target. So we saw a lot of success when he started moving. Mm-hmm. And started mixing it up. And unfortunately, he started figuring that out a little bit too late, and he had taken too much damage, and it had just accumulated in such a way that he wasn't able to execute that game plan successfully anymore.
Yeah, you could see he was getting a little tired. He started getting hit again, and then the beginning of the third round, he came out southpaw. And I was screaming at the same, why?
Listen,
why?
I understand why he might have wanted to do that, why he might have thought that was a good idea, to switch it up, because he was getting hit. He wanted to, see if Jake Paul could adjust, which he did very quickly. And Mike Perry learned
straight right to the
immediately
top of the head
that he needed to go back to his original stance, because we're just never as good in our opposite stance, defensively,
yeah.
Defensively, your body just wants to react in a different way that you would orthodox, or vice versa. It's just not a great idea. If you're gonna switch, you can be offensive, but you need to switch back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a pretty nasty flurry he caught him with in the 4th round too. But man, I was, even though I know the result probably would have been the same, TKO, I was really mad at how fast the referee counted him out.
Yeah. He
got down there and he was like 4. I'm like, what happened to
like,
1, 2, and 3?
Whoa, my friend.
What are you doing?
The thing is, he had gotten dropped, in multiple rounds. So I think he was taking that into consideration. I do remember missing the 1, the 2, and the 3 before the 4 started.
I thought I was tripping.
Were you counting in your head?
Yeah, like, come on, bro.
You gotta say it out loud.
Yeah.
It's like manifestation. It doesn't matter if you say it in your head. You have to say it out loud. You have to give it to the universe.
Yes, you have to say it with your words, not with your brain, not telepathic.
We cannot read your mind.
Yeah, I've been watching that anime I told you about, the boxing anime, and you know how anime is super dramatic.
Yes.
Every moment, every second is actually 5 minutes of inner monologue. So this guy, he's an undefeated boxer, but he gets dropped every fight. Every fight he gets dropped. And the ref jumps down and he goes, 1. And then he goes, oh my God, what happened? Oh, he punched me in the head and then I fell. Oh, I need to keep my hands up. Oh, if only I could reach my mouth guard. Everything's so blurry. And then the ref goes, 2. So I'm expecting that.
You're used to 1 Mississippi.
Yeah,
2
where's the Mississippis?
Do you know what I just thought of? Which is, it was one of my favorite things. Like, you remember Pride Days, right?
Yeah.
When the referees were so dramatic and somebody would be like, that he would be kind of like giving him an opportunity. He'd be like, you give up, you give up, you give up. Nah! And there would be this wave up. It was kind of my favorite thing.
That's cool
to watch. It was really dramatic.
Yeah.
And really amazing.
Yeah.
They're the best ref moments for me.
Oh, yeah. I love
So
the
dramatic.
Thai refs when they jump on the person to save them.
Yes.
Like they're dodging
Yes.
or like jumping in front of a bullet. Referees can be really fun. That referee was not fun. He was not fun.
No, he wasn't.
He was like, don't punch him in the back of the head. You see what he's dealing with?
he just got
Punch him in the back of the, like, that was
Let
a
him
check
punch him
hook.
anywhere. That didn't hit the mohawk, sir.
Yeah, that was a check hook. Just leave him alone. He's fighting for his life right now.
Yeah, exactly.
5, like, you know, 5, 4, 6.
Get out of here.
5, 4, 6, 7, 8. You're done. He was
Learn how to count.
bro. Like, get your Mississippi's going. Fight would have ended the same way either way, but I was still a little mad about that.
Sure.
Like, come on, give him a chance to stumble to his feet. He jumped up to his feet because he was counting so fast and stumbled, and then he called it off.
I know.
I
You
think
were
he should have
rushing
been
him.
able to take
I'm like,
his
why
time.
did you tell him to walk sideways? It's always forward, bro. What the fuck are you doing?
Rigged. Everything is rigged.
It is.
Yeah, can't even let him, the poor guy, recover. It was cool, though, that Mike Perry walked out to Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I used to have the biggest crush on Busy Bone.
Yeah.
Yes, he was mine.
I don't even know if he was there, though, because they had mask on.
No, it definitely wasn't.
What was
him.
that about?
I don't know. But I heard the music and I was like, oh
Right?
my God.
I'm like, who are these Bone Thugs impersonators?
I bet it was like Wish and Lazy.
I think so.
Was
it was a big one.
Wish is the big one.
Yeah, it was the big one. But yeah, it was weird because the music was playing and then they were rapping over it, and they really didn't plan it out.
No, I think the
they just threw it
acoustics
in
in whatever venue they were into, I don't know if there was a rehearsal or not. It just sounded, there were like technical, like audio issues the whole night. Like anytime that they would switch to the broadcast, like I couldn't hear Tyron. I couldn't hear a lot of them initially, and they would constantly have to adjust. So I think that there was just some production issues that weren't worked through beforehand.
Yeah, because they were struggling on the mics there. That's why my first thought was, oh, that's cool. They got two black guys to do Bone Thugs.
They'll
for
never
Mike
know.
Perry's.
They're wearing beanies and do-rags.
Yeah.
Or bandanas, sorry.
But then it all made sense when I saw that Bone Thugs got signed to Conor McGregor's record label. Like, what? This is not something that I would have seen in my like MMA bingo.
Well, he probably has a board of directors for his businesses, and they figured that it was a good venture.
I guess so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Okay. They're like, we can't get Notorious BIG. I know that was your first pick, but his estate is accounted for already. So we can give you Bone Thugs. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. But what I won't take is Mike Perry losing to Jake Paul. You're fired.
Oh, that was shitty.
What a shady thing to say.
That was shitty. Especially, like, I would hope that he had some empathy because he was carried in the Mayweather fight. He just didn't, Mike Perry wasn't extended the same courtesy in this fight.
I always feel like Conor is trying to set something up, though, with his shady tweets. Like, maybe he's trying to set up a Jake Paul fight with him or something. Or maybe he's trying to set up, I don't know, something that leads to more money.
He's very bipolar with his tweets. Like I like Conor when he's super supportive and congratulatory. I like that Conor.
Which he was during the walkout.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, look at my boys, my Bone Thugs boys, and my Mike Perry all together playing all together. This is great."
I feel like maybe he like wasn't blacked out yet or browned out. You know?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
He was on his way. He was on his way.
He was happy Buzz McGregor, and then by the end of the fight, he was his evil twin.
Yeah, I think he really is an angry drunk. He needs to have a supervisor.
Yeah.
With his phone at all times, like a sobriety test. Like, what do you call those things that you blow in?
Yeah, it's a sobriety
test.
test.
He needs that before he can unlock his phone, and that way he'll stop getting himself in trouble.
Come on, man. That's the company that you just invested in. That is your like.
That's your poster child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, give him some respect and support.
Yeah. Talk shit about Jake Paul, not fighting a fair fight.
Which he did.
Okay.
He called him a. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
It was a really good diss. Hold on.
Very colorful.
It was really funny. Where is it? God damn it. I should have had it ready.
Oh, well, while you're talking about that, how funny was it when they said, "Oh, we're dealing with pillows," when they were talking about hands. We're dealing with pillow hands, but then they showed the line of ring card girls with the little mesh boob
with the pillows
shirts showing their pillows in full view. I thought that was clever. Very clever wording right there.
A piss bag.
A piss bag. What does that mean?
It's a piss bag.
Just like a bag of piss.
Yeah.
That's how worthless you are.
Jake Paul is the biggest piss bag I have ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's a little bit supportive of Mike Perry, but I just would have liked to have seen more, especially from somebody who has a stake in BKFC.
Yeah, don't say you're fired.
Back your boy a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Mike Perry handled it like pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
when they were asking him in the post-fight press conference.
Yeah, he didn't downplay his performance, but he also gave him props gave Jake Paul props for his performance, and I thought that was good. He didn't kind of go with his tail tucked between his legs.
Yeah.
He was still like, "Hey, you got this one, but I'll get you back."
Yeah.
Well, come to MMA. Like,
go to bare knuckles.
You
See how you
know,
like it.
you know, you'd murder him in MMA. You know, he's not doing that.
No.
What else was going on in the MMA world? Did you see Cody Garbrandt's new face tattoo?
Yes, I did. Apparently, you did too.
I did. He has a nice little dagger over his eye.
I know.
Like it's the heart.
He
Oh,
did.
that's what it is. Cody No Love. You know how you have that pirate tattoo with the dagger through the heart?
Totally.
His heart is his eyeball, I guess.
Yes.
in this situation.
Just, I'm not a huge fan of like those big face tattoos. You know, like leave the face. Leave the face.
Well, he's going for the Mike Tyson thing. Mike Tyson, when he got his face tattoo, everyone's talking shit. And now it's become part of his whole character. Like, you don't see a picture of Mike Tyson now without the face tattoo. At least, like, when you're looking at cartoons or logos or something like that, you always see that tattoo on it, that tribal tattoo, because it's very iconic. Maybe that's what Cody Garbrandt was going for. He wants a more iconic face than he had before. It's because everyone has a neck tattoo now. Like, you got half my opponents have neck tattoos, you know? So
I've noticed a trend.
Yeah.
I've noticed a trend, definitely. I haven't fought somebody with a neck tattoo yet.
Hey.
Wow.
It's probably coming up. It's
For
gonna
sure.
be next.
For sure.
It's gonna be next.
I just think it's crazy when, I mean,
Next.
Cody... I just think it's kind of crazy. And this is, you know, Cody Garbrandt is exempt from this, but I think it's crazy when people get like one of their first tattoos and it's on the face. Like, you have your whole other body like to choose from, and you want to pick the face.
Yeah, at least Cody probably ran out of space before.
I think he's a little bit out of space.
Yeah.
He's going to need to start like removing, which is very painful. I speak from experience. Or start doing like the cover up that people are doing. They're like just blacking out, which is crazy because it's like you can't, it's hard to come back from.
Man, I just wonder what his thought process was when he said, yeah, dagger over the eye.
Who told him it was a good idea?
You know, Post Malone has kind of the same pattern. He has like a dagger and then like a couple words around here. He has like a vortex of tattoos around his face. So maybe that's just the first step. Cody has one dagger here. Maybe he's gonna get like a
I know what's
shield.
Next. What is next?
A dagger going the other way on the other side. Maybe a full, maybe a mace, some other object. Poker.
No, it's going to be a word next. I'm calling it.
Maybe the heart goes on the other side.
Maybe.
Oh, Cody, stop. We were just saying, like, man,
such a handsome face. Such a handsome young man.
We sound like those gross guys on the internet when they see like a girl with tattoos and they're like, why are you covering up that beautiful body?
I just feel like an old auntie.
Yeah.
Like, your face is so handsome. What have you done?
Your face was so beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Just have some children so we can see that face again on something fresh. But hey, he seems happy with it, so more power to him.
And I mean, he is a fighter, so it's not like he's, you know.
It's not like he has to go into his job at,
yeah.
I don't know.
He doesn't have to cover it up with makeup every day to fit in the corporate world.
Yeah, he's not going to be in his cubicle with a dagger over his eyeball.
He's good. He can have a dagger on his face if he wants to.
Maybe he'll actually get some movie parts or something with a tattoo like that. Dagger Man.
I feel
Face
like when they
tattoos.
do Sons of Anarchy, the movie, that'll be his role.
Hey, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's the role I see him born to play.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Mr. No Love. Mr. No Eye. Oh, man. Another thing that was kind of making the news this weekend was Overeem was on the Rampage Jackson podcast, and I just showed you the clip. He was talking about his 3 daughters, and he's like, yeah, one thinks she's a boy. And the guy on the Rampage was like, oh, because she trains. And he's like, no, she actually thinks she's a boy. And he's been getting a lot of heat for it because he was just kind of putting her on him on blast and saying, yeah, I'm not going to call her a him. She's been mind washed by this woke agenda. And, you know, this is the reason why I think he said why I think she's going down this path. And I mean, he's been getting a lot of heat, and I feel like it's fair because this is a private matter between you and your daughter, who feels like she's a boy. I think people are a lot more free to come out with feelings like these nowadays because of social media and because it's easier to see that you're more normal than you think. And like growing up with a brother who's gay, like that was before social media. He has a lot of friends in the LGBTQ community who have just always felt other. They've been attacked for how they were born, and it just seems like, I don't know, it's easy to say that the woke mob is the reason for somebody in your family choosing to do something that you don't agree with, when it's actually just something that they just feel more comfortable being open with because there are more examples out there of it.
I can understand that point of view. I do understand that Overeem was expressing his frustration, especially as a parent. He sees his daughter as a female, and I understand the concerns that social media and people in their sphere would be influencing in this way, because I feel like, yes, there's always thoughts and feelings and questions when a child is growing up, but how much of it is being influenced by outside forces. So I can understand his frustration, protectiveness, confusion, and feelings with it. I think that it is a safer place in this day and age to talk about it, to have these experiences, to share these feelings and thoughts, which I think is amazing, because not too long ago it was, taboo. We wouldn't talk about it, and people would, grow up in fear about being themselves. Now, I can understand your perspective, but I do understand that, or I do feel that social media does play a big role and leads kids, instead of exploring their thoughts, feelings, and emotions for themselves, it influences them and it leads them down a path that is irreversible.
I think if anything, social media can give a kid hope who already knows that they're different. They already are getting picked on for being not like their friends. You can find examples of how you feel you are. You see like relatable instances. That's why things like TikTok have blown up, because there's a lot of videos on there where you talk about something that's relatable and it goes viral because a lot of people have had this experience before, where it might be something that you were afraid to talk to with your friends or with your family because they're just not going to understand. And it was a big deal when my brother came out. It was back in the 90s. It was something that wasn't the weirdest thing that happened. Like it was a thing that happened a lot back then, but still you get this reaction from the people who you care about the most. And I think that just because social media might make it a little easier for a kid to express the feelings that they're having to their family and stuff, it doesn't mean that it's changing the way they would want to be from the get-go. Like, nobody's watching a video of someone talking about, thinking they're a different gender than what they are, and thinking, oh, this looks like an easy path to take. Like, oh yeah, I want to be like that because I was straight, but doing that seems like you get more attention. Like, I don't understand why people would think that seeing those examples of people just overcoming being different is going to make a child think that they should try to do that just because it looks fun.
Well, I think that for a child's mind, it's really hard to understand the permanency of things like that, and where those kinds of thoughts and questions can lead to. And I understand a parent wanting to protect their child from something that's irreversible.
Yeah, and I don't know if because he didn't really go into like what level of
but it's a start
thing that that his child wants to do, but I definitely believe that if you're going to do something where you're altering your body, it has to be the same as like consent. It has to be the same as drinking. You're not allowed to do it until a certain age
Sure.
because then you actually have a more permanent idea of who you are. And you're gonna change your mind maybe every 3 or 4 years who you actually are. Like, I mean, that's what happened with me with like careers, with what I want to do, with even like the people that I hang out with. It changes. Like people change, but I feel like when you're a kid, yeah, you're not. I wouldn't encourage a child to have surgeries or go through any like type of permanently altering things. But I think if you're just talking about gender identity and what you believe you are, if a child is like, "Hey, I'm a boy now, and I would appreciate if you call me a he," it's like, all right, like if you're not gonna do that, whatever. If you're gonna do that, great. But you also have to respect that this is just like a way that people are expressing themselves nowadays.
Sure, but I understand the fear of a parent thinking that it'll lead to something else
Mm-hmm.
in a mind that is not developed in understanding who they are. I mean, I'm lucky that I didn't get some of the tattoos I wanted when I was younger. And so these kind of conversations, I understand that they're the start to something that could potentially like be life altering and something that scares parents and that
Mm-hmm.
they don't quite understand yet. So I can understand where the resistance comes from.
Yeah, and it's Alistar Overeem. Like he's a fighter. He grew up in a very like easy to understand kind of place. Hit things, don't get hit, go home, come back, do it again, work hard, play hard. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that's the kind of life that Overeem is coming from. I just always get weirded out when people try to blame wokeness or liberalness or whatever on things that they just don't understand. Like when something is out of the norm, it's the woke mob or it's this or that. It weirds me out and it makes me think that you're not trying to understand what's actually going on.
I mean, I understand those feelings and thoughts for sure. It's just I believe with anything it's kind of a pattern that's created. And so when they see and hear these things, they go to that, whether it's really coming from there or not.
Yeah,
It's just an easy thing to say.
it's a easy thing to blame,
Sure.
and it's like he does kind of go into it, but he's like, maybe I should blame myself. And it's like, well, there's nothing really to blame at this point aside from the fact that your kid felt comfortable enough to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where people get confused. They think that nudging someone one way or another is going to change how they were innately feeling inside when it comes to gender identity. And I think that's one of those things that are very complicated, that are almost chemical, where you can't say, oh, okay, they're only doing this because they had a gay dad, or they're only doing this because their teacher like read them a story in drag or something. Like I don't think people are that impressionable that whatever they're doing as whatever they're identifying as a kid is going to
See, I
be
think kids are
pulled out.
extremely impressionable. I mean,
Well,
kids are like sponges, so I feel like they can, take things and run with them in ways that a more developed mind wouldn't.
I think if you're looking at like trauma, I think if you're looking at being abused, then yeah, that's something that can change someone's perspective on different people or who they want to hang out with or and stuff like that. But I don't know if you're looking from like who's giving you love, who's giving you like making you feel accepted. Like I don't know, it just seems like a weird place to go when you're trying to grasp where something that happens occurs naturally and has been occurring naturally for centuries, putting the blame on like social media and wokeness is just yeah, it's just a strange thing to me.
I think it can be extremely influential. I mean, like I understand your perspective, but I see the other side of it too, for sure.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have. Anything else you wanna break down? I think that was big
Not
bonus.
break down, but we can talk about Topuria and Holloway.
Mm.
Not yet completely scheduled, but it's in the works.
Yeah.
It might not be until UFC 307 in Salt Lake City, but I'm excited that it's potentially going to happen.
Yeah, no, that would be a fun one. The fact that Max Holloway has gotten so close to beating Volk and then didn't. He had those 3 fights. They were amazing. Volkanovski became a superstar off of those. But that was the one guy that Max Holloway couldn't get past. And then Ilia Topuria was able to knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're wondering, okay, MMA math time, what's going to happen when Max meets Ilia Topuria? Will he be able to find a mark? No one's been able to hurt Max on the feet. It's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah. MMA math doesn't always math. So just because Topuria beat Volk so impressively doesn't necessarily mean that he has the key to victory with putting Max away quickly. I think it's an interesting matchup. I think that Topuria is on a high, is on a roll, and I'm excited to see what his strategy for Max will be and vice versa.
Yeah, what do you think it's going to be?
I think he's going to do what he normally does, and he's going to charge forward. He's super athletic. He is technical. I think he's going to push Max back and put him on his heels. And I think he's going to be able to cut him off and keep him in a space where he can take him down, ground and pound. I think that would probably be the best path to victory because Max is really great at going backwards, really great at counter striking, not to mention going forward. But I think that Topuria would be best served if he tried to grapple Max.
Yeah, and I think Max is probably going to mess around for a little grappling too, just like feign a few takedowns, use that to set up his strikes and things like that. Max is really good on the ground as well. It's one of those ones where you expect Max to keep his distance, to be rangy and just land volume after volume. He does a great job of controlling the space too. So if Topuria is not able to find the mark, not able to cut him off or just bulldoze through, it's going to be a hard night for him trying to get into that range.
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
Yeah, that should be fun. So you don't think it's happening in the Sphere?
That's reportedly what is happening. They said that it most likely will not happen in the Sphere. I feel like it's too close to happen in the Sphere. I feel like 307 is a little bit better of a spot. It's far enough out, although I don't want to see that fight in altitude. I hate altitude fights.
I mean, that's going to give Holloway the advantage, though, because if anything, altitude takes a little sting off of your punches, and Max doesn't need sting on his punches to win a fight.
Mm-hmm.
He can just pitter-patter away, outstrike him, just beat him up, and, use that volume count to really frustrate Topuria to the point where he does something stupid and you might find the mark that way.
Yeah, I just feel like nobody wins when you fight in altitude.
Max wins. There you go. Let's do it in Salt Lake City. That'll be fun. That'll be fun for him. All right. Well, this has been the Two Straws.
We'll see you later.
Bye.